By 2033, the world had known of the size tool for 5 years. It had grown complacent about it. Only governments and megacorporations, after all, had access to these rare devices. Things were cheaper now. People had more stuff. But had life really changed? It was at this point that the Lund Corporation released the Size Tool Pro. No longer did you have to step into a sealed, rescalable environment to use the size tool. The Size Tool Pro instead took the form of a ray. Simply point the size tool at what you wanted to grow or shrink, highlight it in the reticule, select the size tool, drag and click. And there you have it. The Iridium micro engine could be held in a container the size of a backpack. Fashionably sleek, in stark white with neon turquoise lettering, it went on sale for $289.99. A second set of mass protests met the release of the Size Tool Pro. But these were much smaller, hardcore set of radicals. In something of a PR disaster for the Lund Corporation, the first widely publicised demonstration of the Size Tool Pro took place when a group of young, drunken tech bros charged into a group of protesters, indiscriminately shrinking them. They wore Ghostbusters parody outfits that read Commie Busters across the back and carried logos of a big red cross over a stereotypical female protester's face. The Commie Busters incident made headlines across the world, and when everyone realised that there was currently no law against shrinking people out of existence, the protest quadrupled in size. Running battles could be seen in the streets of major cities. Students and activists of different political stripes were shrinking each other everywhere you went. Yet the economy was booming. Individual items may have lost nearly all of their value, but as every person with a size tool could now turn their flat into a mansion, or even a city full of mansions, sales of particular items skyrocketed. Unexpected shifts in value affected every commodity. Yachts, for example, were sold in bulk. Being a difficult thing to resize without damaging their engines or interiors, people bought one for every size at which they chose to live. Toilet paper went the other way. One sheet, constantly inflated, would last a lifetime. So now there were showrooms devoted to selling individual sheets of extremely luxurious paper for huge amounts. A quality sheet of toilet paper could set you back the equivalent of 15,000 yachts. It was a time of change. A creative entrepreneur could make a fortune overnight. Many of the established firms that had dominated the market only months earlier went bankrupt. Amazon were one such company that seemed to be sinking in the new post-size tool environment. The next-day delivery system was widely considered to be punishingly slow, a thing of the past, especially now that your average local corner shop held over 1 billion separate items in stock. If it wasn't for their grip on American media, of which they still controlled 67%, the company might have been done for. Instead, March 2039 saw the launch of Amazon Rail. Established in collaboration with the Lund Corporation, Amazon Rail comprised a fibre optic cable network running parallel to the internet. The Lund Corporation locked off a specific size setting on its size tools, implementing the restriction of a downloadable patch. Users now had to pay to unlock the size setting and shrink themselves to the required size to use Amazon Rail. Anyone with an internet connection could simply attach an adapter to their phone line and they were now an Amazon Rail station. As a result, many cities emptied. People who worked as toilet paper salesmen in Liverpool could commute in from a remote Tibetan monastery every morning. The head monk of that remote Tibetan monastery could equally choose to live in Liverpool, although he preferred not to. Society changed. People expected everything, all the time. A bad coffee or a 5-minute wait for a delivery would send people into fits of hysterical screaming. Each of these was captured on camera, as was everything else. Privacy, as Zane Lund had predicted, was becoming redundant. Not because of governments, but because people couldn't stop filming each other. Malicious shrinkings were on the increase. People were filled with puritanical hatred whenever they encountered anything that wasn't to their liking. Anytime anything was denied to them, or when they saw someone misbehaving, they were filled with an impotent, self-righteous rage. Part of this was real, sincere frustration, and part of it was a performance conducted to direct attention away from themselves. Someone else being targeted meant that the cameras momentarily turned away from you, or so people seemed to hope. The possibility that at any time one could be surrounded by unseen people with unseen cameras produced a double effect. The ugliness of the hatred and rage, yes, was very palpable, but equally there was a movement towards strict homogenization. The Size Tool Mini was released in May 2034, and with it came the potential to select individual body parts to resize and to sculpt. Some people rushed into full body transformations. These were mercilessly punished. Some were merely humiliated, while others were contorted into strange shapes by laughing mobs before finally being shrunk into oblivion. Despite these riots, however, everyone slowly began to morph towards a set of standardized appearances. a lip plumping here, a nose reduction there. It all added up. Older people began to struggle to tell their grandchildren apart. And despite the changes, the wealth gap between rich and poor continued to grow.